Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, and of course, thanks to the Geospatial Media Communication for the invitation. So, as shown in the map, the Philippines is an archipelago comprising of 7,107 islands with the total land area of 30 million hectares, 14 million of which are agricultural, and actually about 9 million is under Agrarian Reform Program. At the top of the agenda of the Philippine Development Plan, which is under the President Aquino, is inclusive growth, meaning that growth that is rapid, sustained, and wide enough to cover a broad spectrum of the population. The Philippines is considered as the fastest growing economy among Asian countries, that during the first quarter of 2013, we have a growth rate of 7.8%. However, agriculture, including agrarian reform sector, contributed only 0%. Maybe because typhoon are a normal occurrence in the Philippines, with about 20 typhoons hitting the country every year. Very recently, we have a super typhoon, and we exported to China. The country has been experiencing increasing torrential rains, even without typhoon, that are more widespread and hardest to predict. Agriculture is considered as the most vulnerable sector to climate change due to high dependence on climate and weather. Droughts, floods, and extreme temperatures are actually shifting timing of rain patterns, as posing a lot of challenges to agricultural productivity. I think with the new technologies that were presented this morning and will be presented the following sessions, I believe that these global challenges can be transformed into geospatial opportunities. Okay, this is the conceptual framework of the agrarian reform in relation to agriculture as the key factor for achieving inclusive growth. Agrarian Reform Program is a government policy initiative enabling tenants to acquire lands and strengthen tenurial rights as the first step in accelerating agricultural growth via small farmer. Before the agrarian reform was implemented in the Philippines, land ownership was only 5%. Recent statistics show that land ownership is now at 42%. It is argued that exclusive growth requires rapid agricultural growth based on improvement of productivity, which then become the basis of structural transformation, but must be supported by improving investment, crop insurance, credit services. We have to secure property rights and private participation, supported by macro policies and adoption of new technological innovation to improve resiliency and climate change. So therefore, it is important feature that an exclusive growth should start from the Agrarian Reform Program. Next is what is the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program. We started with the coverage of rice and corn, but based on the 1987 Constitution declared by President Corazon Aquino, the mother of the President, we declared the promotion of comprehensive rural development in Agrarian Reform Program. That includes all crops. Okay, so you will note that there are three major components. The first one is the land tenure improvement to address the inequality in resources of providing access to agricultural lands. The second one is provide agrarian justice delivery to help farmers and landowners at the same time. And the third one is the program beneficiaries development as the third component that includes support services to the farmers to include the development of rural infrastructure. Okay, you will note that under the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program, we have the Presidential Agrarian Reform Council. It is the President of the Philippines as the chair of this council. No? So it is supported by Park Executive Committee, the Park Secretariat, and the Provincial Agrarian Reform Coordinating Committee up to the barangay level. No? The Department of Agrarian Reform is the lead agency supported by other 8 government agencies. Okay, so what is our target or the CARP scope? Actually, as a policy initiative that enable the tenants to acquire land as the first step in the agricultural growth through a small farmer sector. No? Our target was actually 9 million hectares to benefit 6 million farmers or beneficiaries. Okay, right now in terms of land distribution, as of June 30, 2012, we already distributed 8 million hectares of land to 5 million beneficiaries. So we have 2 agencies involved that distributed 4.4 million hectares of land, while DNR, or Department of Environment and Natural Resources, already distributed 3.5 million hectares of land, total of 9 million hectares. No? Okay, what are these? These are the location of agrarian reform community. Okay, for every 300 hectares that we distributed, acquired and distributed, so we proclaim agrarian reform communities. No? So as of June 30 of 2012, there are now 2,195 ERCs, covering practically the entire barangay of the Philippines, benefiting 1.5 million farmers. And for every ERC, we organize cooperatives. Now we have 6,500 cooperatives nationwide. No? Okay, what is the contribution to the economy? No? For 2011 to 2012, the agriculture, including agrarian reform in fishery sector, contributed an average of 12% to GDP, while posting a positive annual growth of 2.6% to 0.8%. But definitely the sector performance remained below the target of 4.3 to 5.3%. In terms of contribution to employment, in absolute terms, the sector employs practically 1/3 of the labor force in the country. However, the number of people engaged in the sector has been observed to be declining. No? So the number of people employed dropped practically negative of 2%. Maybe this is mainly due to seasonal nature of agricultural work, coupled with a low level of diversification in cropping intensity. Okay, compare with our ASEAN neighbor, no? With the Southeast Asian countries, the Philippine growth in agriculture sector is ranked number 4, with the average of only 1.3% from year to 2010 to 2011. And of course, Malaysia is number 1 with the growth rate of 4.2%. No? Okay, in terms of international trade of agricultural products, for 2012, the country share is only 11.2% in the value of agricultural products at 5.4 billion. No? So Philippines is still continue to be net importing countries. No? In fact, posting a deficit of 1.6 billion for 2011. Compared with Indonesia, which ranked number 1, with a balance of trade of 25.7 billion. So the next one is the strategic framework for inclusive growth. No? So under the President Aquino, so there is we have the Philippine Development Plan. The vision is to have a competitive and sustainable agriculture, including agrarian reform program that will contribute to the inclusive growth and poverty reduction. So the goal one first is the food security, improvement and rural income. And the second one is to address sector resiliency to climate change. No? So under food security, we would like to ensure food availability, access, and stable supply at all times. Then we have to raise productivity and income in agriculture and increase investment and employment access on efficient value chain and transform our beneficiaries into viable entrepreneur. Of course, under sector resilience to climate change, which I believe the technological provider will be very interested, is we have to reduce climate change risk and vulnerability. And we have to increase the resilience of agriculture communities through the development of climate change sensitive technologies. At the same time, we have to incorporate the natural hazard in climate change risk and the preparation of the comprehensive land use plan. No? We have to strengthen the capacity of communities to respond effectively to climate change and natural hazard and continue vulnerability and adaptation assessment, especially in the food production areas. Okay, the next one is, of course, the agrarian reform and induce development strategy in resuming industrialization and rural development. That means we cannot stop at the agrarian reform level. No? So in the classic economic development, most of the countries actually started with agrarian reform economy, where the agriculture sector dominates both output and employment relative to the other two major economic sector of industry and services. No? So therefore, agriculture grows and productivity increases with technological changes in transformation of our farmers. And we have to increase investment in rural infrastructure, post-harvest facilities, training program for the farmers, and we have to extend credit assistance coupled with crop insurance. Compare with our ASEAN neighbor again, no? Most of our ASEAN neighbor, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, and Vietnam, actually raised their share to GDP of 40% within the last 2 decades. But Philippines' highest share was only 34.6%. So for the Philippines to attain industrialization and rural development, we must transform agrarian economy and its smallholder farmer into viable entrepreneur, increase investment and consumption, and the Philippines must attempt to increase agricultural share of GDP to at least 40%. Okay, this is my last topic, actually transforming global challenges into geospatial opportunities. So I will no longer discuss the geospatial technologies, since most of you are the expert on this matter. What I would rather discuss the opportunities in terms of public-private partnership program in the Philippines. No? The Philippines has long been experienced in PPP initiatives, which serve as the strong basis for attracting private investment. No? The government was able and is able to attract investment for the last few years. No? And such as the traditional PPP actually infrastructure, such as power, transportation, airport, ports, water sector. No? But we'll also encourage PPP on non-traditional infrastructure, such as the application of ICT, health, and property development. Okay. So what are those projects related to climate change which are ongoing and potential projects? First is that we have the topographic mapping being undertaken by NAMRIA under the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, and they're trying to complete, the topographic map of the country. No? The second one is geohazard mapping. There is an ongoing program, Priority of DNR, implemented by one of the bureaus, Mines and Geoscience Bureau. The objective is to identify areas which are vulnerable to geohazard. No? And the third one, we have the Project NOAA. This is under Department of Science and Technology, the so-called National Operation Assessment of Hazard, which harnesses technologies and services for disaster risk reduction activities. And of course, as far as that is concerned, we are very much interested on the precision agricultural program. No? So the Philippines is just starting to adopt precision agriculture. The Department of Agrarian Reform, of course, we have the 9 million hectares of land that will definitely require precision agriculture technology to improve productivity. So we started pilot testing in 3 provinces. No? And of course, I think the most important to us is the national land use. National land use. Right now, the National Land Use Act is due for approval by Congress. It aims to optimize the use of land base on the best uses, the need to balance economic, environmental, and social development project. So with this approval of this act, it will greatly help the Department of Agrarian Reform in the evaluation of approval of land conversion, because our office is the one in charge of land conversion. So that we are hoping that with the completion of comprehensive land use, we have to come up with, in short, land use for 1,400 municipalities, 143 cities, 89 provinces, and we have 16 regions. That is very important to address the conflicting use of land, indiscriminate or illegal conversion of agricultural lands, and we have to do a mapping of agricultural areas that must be completed as part of the preparedness against disaster occurrence and to minimize the impact of agriculture. So that ends my presentation. Thank you and mabuhay.